When you're reading the news, listen, guys, I think we've already been here before where I kind of go through the internet or whatnot. So it's probably, when you're looking through the news or when you're reading the news again, whatever you want to call it, okay? But essentially, I just wanted to come on here because I was seeing LeBron James talk about he was on the Pat McAfee show, and I was kind of like, oh, snap. Like, you rarely get to see him, like, talk like this or see him like kind of I don't know what's the right word, like explain his things that are going on in his life, right? He's pretty, because he's does basketball and he wants to be like this larger than life brand, or he is this larger than life brand. One of the best NBA players, and you have to think to yourself like, oh, he can't go on a podcast and talk his like real feelings or like get out all of his frustrations and whatnot because he's the basketball player, and if he says something, they might fire him. Da 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 da. So it was interesting to see him on that show, and I was just kind of like, ooh, it's so funny to see what he, for him to finally like talk or speak his mind or say things, and it looks like right here he takes a dig at ESPN's Brian Windhurst on the Pat McAfee show. So I've seen the clip of it. He's just basically saying that like. Brian Windhurst is kind of like saying that like him and LeBron James are like best friends, and he's like, that's just not true. Like, I don't want to misquote him, but he said something along those lines. He was kind of like, I'm paraphrasing here. He says that like he's just a weirdo, or like people who talk like that or who act like they know him on like a personal level or like best friends with him or like have this relationship with him when they don't are weirdos and stuff like that. So it's kind of, I don't know, moments like that. I was like, oh snap, he's actually talking about him, or he's airing out the room, or he's putting space between him and this other person, and I think that's I don't know. I guess it's not like that crazy in sports. I guess it's more so like LeBron specifically speaking out against it or push back on it. And maybe I'm out of the loop. Maybe he does say those things, or he does talk about those things outside of, I don't know, outside of the, on his own, or there have been talks outside of it, But this was like on the actual like show. He was able to speak his mind, I guess. And then the Stephen A. Smith situation. So if you're not caught up with the Stephen A. Smith, so LeBron James confronted Stephen A. Smith on like the basketball court, and apparently he was talking to him about comments he said about his son, Bronny James, or is it Bronny? I forget which one it is. It was one of his sons. I forget. I'm so sorry. I think it's the one that's in the league with him, on the Lakers with him. And Stephen A. Smith was making comments about him, or it was something about his family. And LeBron James confronted him, and he was just like, "Yo, don't ever do that again." And it was heated. It was heated. And he went up to him and he started talking to him. And now Stephen A. Smith is trying to like puff out his chest and be like, listen, dude, if he had done anything to me on that field, I would have taken him. I would have swung on LeBron James. And I was like, oh my gosh, bro. It's so stupid when like a sports commentator acts like he's like there's no way on earth he's like, even if he did take a swing at LeBron James would just still take that punch or take that hit. Like, Stephen A. Smith isn't doing anything to LeBron James. And it's just funny that he's puffing out his chest and making it seem like he has any solid ground over LeBron James, or like anybody thinks he's a real threat to LeBron James. Like, he's basically said that like he would have immediately swung on LeBron James if he had confronted him and touched him or like pushed him or had any kind of physical altercation with him, And I mean, I want to say that Stephen A. Smith has every right to defend himself, but sometimes it's like when you say certain things, or it's such a tricky job too, because I don't think we've ever had something like this, or maybe we have and I'm missing it here, but they're on the same team together, like father-son duo on the court together, and now like, I don't know, like Stephen A. Smith is allowed to have an opinion being a sports commentator, but where's the line? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it if it's not professional criticism, like it'd be one thing if he was like, yo, I think he needs to improve his dribble, or I think he needs to be better on, getting in close to the, you know what I mean? Just coming up with like different ways to like improve his son's game. You know what I mean? Be better at the game, be a better player, be on the team and work together. But when it comes to like, I guess maybe personal disputes, or maybe like he makes comments that aren't sports related, so it's not about basketball, it's not about him as a player, it's more so of like a personal connection between him and LeBron. And that becomes the issue. And that becomes where LeBron James has to step in and kind of be like, yo, leave him out of that. Like, stop talking about our family dynamic, I guess. I don't even know what Stephen A. Smith said that could like make LeBron James get heated like that, but he did. And I also personally think that when you are in those rooms, or are having those conversations, when it's like, if Stephen A. Smith was just another random guy on the internet, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. It's because Stephen A. Smith is like kind of the biggest sports commentator, or the biggest person who talks about like all things sports, and he's very recognizable. It becomes a problem, and it's like, yo, I have to shut this down. I have to tell him to stop talking about my son. And it becomes like that. Now, everybody else is not that big of a deal. Like, if you're just on, like me, right? Like, if I said on a podcast, like, if I said on this podcast that, like, I made pokes at LeBron and his son, and I was just, like, attacking at their family relationship, or they're gossiping about them, right? Like, LeBron James isn't pulling up on me. I mean, unless I go to like the basketball games and he knows who I am. But I would never do that, LeBron. All right. But anyways, if he did, right, like he would pull up on me, or he would confront me and talk to me the same way he talked to him. It's just about defending or protecting, or being able to like, when you're in the same room as such and such, you have to, I don't know, it's so completely different, the variables of it. But I just want to say that Stephen A. Smith is kind of puffing his chest out now when he's in his studio safe and comfortable, but let him go to another Lakers game and let's see if he still has that same energy. Let's see if he has that same energy. Even if he probably won't be allowed into the Lakers arena, you know what I mean? But I just feel like, everything that he's doing now or saying now, I can't respect it or be like, oh snap, what's the right word? I can't be like, oh yeah, you're tough, Stephen A. Smith. Like, I can't immediately be like on his side about it. I have to be like, well, it's LeBron. Like, LeBron James isn't saying don't criticize him, or don't be mean to him, or say whatever you want to say about him. It's more so like, hey, that's my son. I'm his father, and you don't get the right to speak about him in that way and get to come to the game and be a fan, or like act like we're cool when we're not. And I guess it was more so about like making it known. I don't really think LeBron James would have. On the one hand, I think he wouldn't care if the cameras were like on, you know what I mean? Like, if they had met each other in the hallway or something like that at like the Lakers game, I don't think he would have been like, he would have still confronted him. Cameras or not, you know what I mean? It just so happened that he was on the field, he talked to him, and then they had that dispute or whatnot. Yeah, he would have had that same energy whether or not he was, on the court, off the court, would have had that same energy for Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith is like, whoa, dude, I'm just, you know what I mean? That's the weird thing about people who are commentators, or who criticize or talk about sports. It's like, if you're not talking about sports in a constructive manner, I'll say, right? If you're not actively, how can I talk about the sport in like in a good manner, or like in a way that I can be constructive but also like critical, and it's like it can be valued, across all sports commentating. But I guess LeBron James found it more disrespectful overall. And I'm not gonna say he's wrong, but on the other hand, it's like if he's gonna have, you know, I guess as a father, you're gonna have weak skin or not weak skin. You're gonna have like a bit of a soft spot for your family and for your son. And on the other hand, I'm kind of like, well, your son is his own man, right? He's got to be able to take this criticism, you know? Everybody would be talking about it anyways. People are going to be making comparisons between you and him. It's only a matter of time, you know what I mean? Cuz I'm assuming he wants a long career in the NBA. So, this is just the beginning of it. They've just joined the team together and they still got like, you know, LeBron James is what, 38 years old? And his son is like 23, 24. So you can imagine like another decade of comments or people making comparisons between LeBron James and his son. It's like, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. And this is only the beginning. So I guess it's either LeBron James puts his foot down now and kind of like calls out all criticisms, or wait decades for it to like be a problem and then finally speak out. It's like you got to put that to bed now while it's still fresh and starting, so that when nobody else ever dares intervene in like the family dynamic or the relationship. You know what I mean? That's like in sports commentating. Now if it's about the game itself, if it's about comparisons, if it's about like this is LeBron James and this is his son, then that's like more acceptable, I guess. But when it becomes personal, I don't know. But anyways, Stephen A. Smith is puffing his chest out now and basically saying that like, hey, I would have fought him on the court if he did anything to me. And it's just like, yo, dude, that's not happening. We all know that's not happening. And even if he did, well, he wouldn't do anything. So it's just a little bit of a him puffing out his chest. You know what I mean? In other sports related news, there is Alex Eala. I don't know if it's Eala or Eala. E-A-L-A. Eala. So she's 19 years old. She defeated the 19-year-old wild card. She's the 19-year-old wild card and defeated the former world number one in a monumental upset in Miami. So the teenage wildcard defeated an outsider of Sweden and will now play either fourth seed Jessica Pegula or Britain's Emma Raducanu for a place in the final. Philippines. So she's a Philippine. She's from the Philippines. She's a tennis player. She played in Miami, and she was the wild card, and she beat 3 Grand Slam champions on her way to the Final Four. And she'll have to play against... No, she beat Madison Keys from Australia, Jelena Ostapenko at the French Open, and she's the French Open champion, and she knocked out 5-time Grand Slam winner Swiatek in straight sets. Crazy. Yeah, man. Awesome. That's great, dude. I'm always impressed by the tennis players, especially the women's tennis players, because do you know that it's like such a longer game than maybe like men's tennis or whatever? Well, maybe not longer, but you know what I'm saying. It's like because of the skill required for the game, and then like the comparisons between like, if you see the comparisons between the men play tennis and the women play tennis, you'll see that the women are actually like, they can't overpower their opponents, right? Like they're not like, not that they aren't strong, it's just more so like they're not going to have as much power on the swing or on the hit as maybe their male opponents. Although there was that like tennis match between the man and the woman won, but yeah, I'm just trying to say for like, well, I guess it really is no comparison, but I'm always interested in women's tennis. I always thought that they were like, it was really skilled and it was really difficult, and I really got into it when Serena Williams and like the Venus sisters or whatever that they were playing, and I was really into it. I was like, that was a big deal at the time. I forget when that was. It was like 2016, 2017, something like that. And Naomi Osaka, and then Emma Raducanu won, and I was just kind of like, oh snap, this is cool. Like it was really nice to see women's tennis be like a very high and I don't know what's the right word. It was just kind of like that was the cool sport. And I played tennis, so I was kind of like interested in it and I thought it was cool. So anyways, that's awesome. She beat the number one champion or she beat somebody that was really important. I'll just say that. Awesome. And she's only 19. That's awesome. That's great. Okay, here we go. In football news, Pro Bowl wing right Stephon Diggs signs 4-time. Oh snap! He signs Stephon Diggs went to the Patriots and he signed a 4-time Pro Bowl. No. Patriots signed 4-time Pro Bowl wing right Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs. Patriots agree on 3-year deal for $69 million. That is crazy. Wow. Man, he's got to be a valuable player. Getting that kind of money. 3 years. So, 69 million. Why not just make it an even 70? That's so bizarre to me. Why do they always do that? Why do they make it like 69 million when it's like, you know what? Let's toss them an extra million just to make it even, an even 70, right? Like I know they got the money. It's just it's kind of weird that they do it at an even they do it on a odd 69 rather than a full even 70. But anyways, it is what it is. That's cool, dude. I'm always on like the side of like the football players because they're putting their bodies on the line. Like every single play, every single run, every single tackle, every single pass, hit, they're sacrificing themselves for that money. So it's kind of like for the sport. So 69 million for possible brain damage and body damage, and he could go, he could be paralyzed tomorrow if he gets hit wrong or whatever. Yeah, I definitely think 70 or 69 million is for 3 years is definitely deserved, and I'm on the side of like football players. I think that they're very deserving of it. What else is there? I think we're in the final four right now for no, my bad. March Madness. We're in March Madness. What am I talking about? Oh yeah, everybody has like their March Madness predictions. I remember I used to do that. They used to be like put all of the brackets for the college teams, but I never really got into it. I was just kind of like, I don't know. I made the bracket. I tried it. I tried to like piece together who I thought would win, and I was wrong on the first match, and then like I got everything wrong. So I was like, you know what? It really doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It's like, why try to guess? Just watch the games and have fun. Like it doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be anything more or less. Let's see. Women 3-0 Real Madrid. Arsenal come back against Madrid. DC plane crash echoes Boston skating club's 1961 tragedy. Let's see. Juju Watkins' injury exposes major injustice suffered by Paige Bueckers because of... It I think it's women's the NCAA women's basketball. So Juju Watkins got an injury on her leg. Let's take a look. Dude, they always do this. Why do they always like make it women against women? So it's like Juju Watkins' injury exposes major injustice suffered by Paige Bueckers because of Caitlin Clark. Like what? Per National Reporter. So I don't know why they always have to make it about like. Why can't they just like? It would be one thing if she like directly caused the injury, but it would be another thing if it was just like, I don't know. I haven't read the full thing, but okay. So they're just basically comparing. Um, they're comparing Paige Becker's rookie year, or they're comparing Paige to Caitlin Clark, and it's like I don't know. It feels like maybe they're like attacking her, or they're like doing something to her. I don't know. She was supposed to be like a really big college basketball star in women's basketball, but oh, you see, like they're saying that this girl who got the injury is better than Caitlin Clark, and it's like, why does it have to be that? It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be a comparison. It's like they both just play really good basketball. You know what I mean? Ooh, damn. She got a ACL? Is that what it was? It looks like her, yeah, ACL tear. And she got, look at her. Oh my gosh, she's on the ground crying, bro. That is crazy. 9 to 12 months to recover from that ACL tear. Oh my gosh. But a full recovery is quite common for female athletes. Okay, cool. All right, we're cool. We're chilling. We're chilling. So this is the thing that they do with women's sports, or whenever anybody gets like any major talk about them when it comes to sports, or when it comes to women in sports, it's like it always becomes a comparison. So it's like, hey, this girl is better than this girl because this girl has a lot more attention on her. It's like she has attention on her because she plays the game and she's good at the game and people talk about her. You know what I mean? And then other people are like, hey, this other girl is way better than her. But then this girl gets all of the spotlight. And sometimes it's like a race issue, right? Because Caitlin Clark is white, and maybe the other and this basketball player Juju is African American. So it's like they always make it like that kind of comparison. But I don't know. Now it just kind of feels like a bit. Like I'm not going to sit here and be like I'm the biggest college basketball fan, or like women's college basketball, but I will say it's like it's exciting to see these players or these women get like some acknowledgement or some sort of like look at, you know, when it comes to playing basketball. I don't know, it's difficult. It's really difficult to kind of be like, how can we, I don't know what's the right word. How can we pit these women against each other? It's like, just let them play the game, and whoever wins, wins. Whoever's better. We'll see it, you know? But I guess that's why statistics exist, you know what I mean? They'll be able to, like, average who plays better than who based on what and whatnot. But her getting injured now is like an injustice, I guess, or like it exposes, like, how she doesn't get any of the big attention that maybe Caitlin Clark does, because she's not as popular, or because she's like white and she's African American. You know what I mean? But yeah, and now she has that injury and she's on the floor with her knee. That's awful, dude. You hate to see it. You rarely see people like, well, you see people come back from like big injuries, right? But those are the only stories people like talking about. They don't like to talk about the end of her college basketball career, because this could be career ending. This could be the end of everything that she used to be, right? I'm not saying it is. She could definitely come back, and there's high hopes that she will come back, and I hope she comes back. I hope she continues to play, because you never want to see that. But when you get like something like an ACL tear, it's I don't know. I just want to say that like it always has to be a comparison or a back and forth. It's like, just let the women play, and then when a game gets really exciting, then we can start like putting them against each other, really like going after one another, you know what I mean? But now with this ACL tear, she's kind of like defeated a bit, and that's awful. That sucks. I hate to see that. Let's see. Is there anything else? Golf? No. China's football team. China's football team. I think they're talking about soccer. Numb and humiliated, why China's football dream lies in tatters. And then they have a picture of a woman crying. Oh, is the World Cup coming up? That's crazy. See a World Cup 26 spot. Which countries have qualified for the 2026 World Cup? Let's take a look. Okay. The 2026 World Cup, which is taking place in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, begins on June 11 next year. It will be the 23rd edition of the tournament and the first with 48 countries competing. Qualification is already underway around the globe as teams battle to reach the world's biggest sporting event. Which countries have already secured their spot in North America next summer? How many places are awarded to each continental confederation? How far into the qualification process are those 6 regions? Here's the athletics guide to the state of play, blah, 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 blah. So, here are the 6 confederations. AFC, Asia, CAF, Africa, CONCACAF, North America, CONMEBOL, South America, OFC, Oceania, and then UEFA, Europe. Which countries have qualified? United States, obviously. Canada, okay. Mexico, let's go. Japan, Asia, New Zealand, Oceania, Oceania. Or maybe I'm getting it all wrong, saying it wrong. But anyways, Oceania. I gotta figure out how to say it. Okay, Oceania. Pronunciation, let's go. Oceania. What? Oceania. It says Oceania. What? I still don't know how to pronounce it. Oceania. All right, let's just stick with that, okay? Oceania. Iran, Asia. Argentina, South America. And that's it. Wow. Okay. Oceania. I'm going to get that stick in my head all day. I had no idea how to pronounce that. Oceania. But anyways, I guess China didn't make it or didn't qualify, so Japan made it or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good start. I was just kind of like thinking about sports because Stephen A. Smith was on the was talking about LeBron James, and I was like, I don't know. I thought it was kind of like weird that he was like making a big deal about it when it's not a big deal at all. He just needs to accept his L and walk away. But he keeps on trying to puff out his chest on his show and whatnot, and it's just like, calm down, dude. Like, you're not going to do anything. So, at the end of the day, stop talking about LeBron James' son. Like, that's really the most important thing here, and stop being a weirdo and acting like you know LeBron when you don't. So, that's all I can really say. And then Alexandra Iala won at the Miami Open. Stephon Diggs got $69 million deal. I forget her name. Juju Watkins got an injury, which sucks. And then finally, certain teams. Oh well, China didn't make it to the 2026. Haven't qualified for the 2026 World Cup yet. Maybe they still can. I don't know. But anyways. That's about it. I was just interested on that, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to talk about sports. So when you're reading sports news or whatever, right? Just kind of you realize how much drama goes into sports. Like you're just like, they're the team, they just play and then they have fun, but then there's always like just a little bit something more. There's always some more juice to like squeeze or to find in the thing. So it's kind of fun, but anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. Talk to you guys all next time. Thank you.